And we are live on Who Wrote That Up For You. Today is Wednesday, October 26, 2022. I'm Sonia Ebron, co founder at Courtroom 5.
And I'm Deborah Sloan, the other co founder at Courtroom 5.
Got a great show lined up for you today. In a few moments, we will speak with Jill Kristen Berkana at the Berkana Institute of Massage Therapists. She's served as an expert witness in a variety of areas, and so we'll hear about her experience in that regard. Before we get there, Deborah, what is on your mind today? What is our issue of the day?
I want to talk about, in general, pro se litigants who are oftentimes have a difficult time when they file their complaint, have a difficult time pleading facts rather than conclusions. Let me give you an example out of Hillsborough, Florida. There's this plaintiff, Brian Hunt, who in 2020, his mother started lung cancer treatments at Florida Cancer Center. Those are the defendants. She was prescribed Opdivo and Yervoy, and when she showed signs of being allergic to the drugs, the doctors didn't cease administering them to her. Now, these are his own facts. Within weeks of being given the drugs, Miss Hunt suffered an allergic reaction and she passed away. According to him, the defendants covered up their negligence, recklessness, and or intentional misconduct, and he sued the plaintiff's son sued the treating doctor and multiple other parties for roughly $10 million for medical malpractice and a host of other claims. And those are the claims there: negligence, medical malpractice, wrongful death, breach of contract, fraudulent deceit, fraud, intentional misrepresentation, breach of fiduciary duty. Now, the thing is that in Florida, first of all, there are a number of things that you have to prove in a complaint, or you have to show in a complaint. You There are a number of elements, and for example, medical malpractice in Florida, you have to show a duty. You have to plead a breach of that duty, and you have to plead causation, that the breach caused the injury to the plaintiff. Um, the problem is that these have to be pled as facts, not conclusions. And that's where pro se litigants get gets kind of confused, is that the events of your case should say what the elements are, should cover all the elements. That means that, for example, here in the first bullet point, as her physician, doctor, whatever, owe the patient a duty of care. And if you can list the statute, that's an event. And you can go ahead and list the number of events that happened, and all those events should amount to the elements in the case. However, most pro se litigants, like Brian did here, cite conclusions, and his conclusion is that the conduct of the doctors and the hospital rose to a level of medical malpractice that's basically illegal in Florida. That's a conclusion, and the problem with that is that since Florida is called a fact pleading state, the complaint needs to have facts that show the elements that he must prove. And so my point is that when pro se litigants um, fill out a complaint or plead their claim, they should be very focused on stating the actual events. Tell a story with all the relevant facts, and all the facts should prove their case, should prove those elements.
That is. I want to just first express my condolences to Brian. I think you said his name was
Hmm.
on the loss of his mom. It reminds me that we had a guest recently who talked about folks experiencing trauma, and that's often what brings them into the court system. And you want to be careful to distinguish between your trauma and the use of the courts, because I think people should be aware, first of all, that when you file something in court, it becomes a public record, and so I'm in that way comfortable discussing it on air here. But I am concerned as a non-lawyer here. I'm concerned about uh, this confusion over facts and conclusions. It's really dangerous to mess up a pleading that way, in that way, right? You could actually, if a judge gets his hands on that, and judges often these
Yeah,
days want to get rid of anything that is uh, they consider is going to be a waste of the court's time, you could risk having your case dismissed permanently, like with prejudice, just by making certain mistakes in the pleading there. And I know a lot of judges think that if you're pro se, and particularly as a plaintiff, a pro se plaintiff, oh, why couldn't you get a lawyer, right? If
mm,
you've got a claim here, well, it must not have any merit if you don't have a lawyer representing you. That's so
mm,
incorrect. I mean, that is just they are not living in the real world there. But I do know that that's an attitude, and so Brian should understand he is running into a potentially very biased court system that who's going to look at any minor errors, and more significant errors,
hmm,
as an excuse to deny him the right to be heard. And I don't know the situation, I don't know the background, but oftentimes we've seen people without adequate legal training just grab something off the internet and change the names and the facts, and just substitute what they think are relevant facts pertaining to their situation. And that is the biggest way to get your claim dismissed permanently. And so, at any rate, I do hope Brian has an opportunity before a judge gets his hands on that to, either amend it, with some proper facts, or you can even voluntarily dismiss it at this point and take the opportunity um, to learn what's necessary to file a proper complaint there. Wish him the best. Maybe we'll follow that case, Deborah,
hmm,
and see
hmm.
how it goes for him. But yeah, that's that one. In my non lawyerly opinion, um, needs some immediate help there. So, but nonetheless, wish him the best.
Yes,
Who wrote that
absolutely.
up for you is sponsored by Courtroom 5. At Courtroom 5, we believe the courts belong to the people, particularly the people who use them, and we, the people, are coming to claim our courts. So if you are in court without a lawyer, or if you need to sue someone and can't find a lawyer to represent you, get yourself over to courtroom5.com. Try a limited version of our services for free, and we hope to provide some relief for you there. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome onto the show Jill Kristen Berkana. Uh,
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Jill.
Jill is the director and owner and creator of the Berkana Institute of Massage Therapy. Jill, tell us what you do there at the Institute.
We offer a comprehensive entry level education for massage therapists. So, people who want to enter the profession. We have students that come from other careers, other professions, and they want to change things up. Or we also have people that are coming out of high school who are wanting to become massage therapists, and we train them from the very beginning at zero, and we get them to being licensed massage therapists.
Mm,
How
great.
long is the training for these students?
This is a fantastically accelerated program. It's unusual. It usually takes about 7 to 8 months to a year and a half to do this, and we do it in 5 months. So this is a boot camp. It's accelerated. It's super fast. So we're not even able to accept people that are working full time. So most of our students work part time or not at all, and they devote themselves to this education so they can level up their lives and get into the career as quickly as possible.
Fantastic. And so when they leave your institute, they are prepared to open their own massage therapy practices. Is that correct?
Absolutely, or go and work for others. So they can either be independent contractors, they can be sole proprietors, they can go and work for osteopaths, chiropractors, spas, resorts, health clubs, that kind of thing.
Are there certifications that are required to do that sort
Yes.
of
Well,
work?
there's licensure is required. So what a school does is a school provides the certification, and then that makes the person eligible to go and take the national board exam for licensure.
Mm.
And then depending on what state they're in, then they will then apply for their license and provide things like background checks, provide transcripts. They may sometimes have to take some law exam, and then they hopefully are granted their license and then they can practice.
Fantastic. That is
Mhm.
a wonderful service. And where are you located? And where are your
Longmont,
students?
Colorado. So my school is located in this beautiful Victorian mansion that I own with my partner, and we have small classes that come. We run two classes a year in this Victorian mansion that's in this charming smaller city in Colorado, right outside of Denver and Boulder.
Ah, fantastic. That
Wow.
is that is beautiful. Fantastic. And so I know that you've had the opportunity to serve as an expert witness. I wanted to
Mhm.
just get a bit of background there. Are massage therapists sued, or what sorts of cases might
Yes, yes.
require
Well,
the testimony from a massage therapist?
first of all, a little more about my background is I've been a massage therapist for 32 years, and I also have been founding and running schools and writing curriculum. And I served on the National Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork as board director. And at that time, I was the board liaison to the Standards and Ethics Committee. So we were rewriting, if you will, the standards and ethics and the ethical code for board certified massage therapists, which is the highest level of massage therapist in the United States. So with that, I've had the opportunity to really dig in and understand what the rules of engagement are for our profession, and that's why I'm eligible and qualified to be an expert witness in cases of misconduct. And
Mm.
it is most often that when I am called on, it's when there is a massage therapist who's being sued for some form of misconduct.
Mm.
Got it. Understood.
And it seems like the what I spend the majority of my time doing when I'm called in to do this is educating everyone that is going to be making these decisions who are not the massage therapist, because no one really understands, well, what is massage therapy? Is it cosmetology? Is it a luxury thing? Is it healthcare? Is it witchcraft? Like, what is massage therapy all about? People don't really understand. And the reason for that is because it's a relatively new profession in terms of standardization in the United States. And it's very, it's when I'm talking about standardization across the states, it's incredibly inconsistent. So,
Mm.
and that's because states have only been regulating massage therapy for the last 30 years for the most part, except for Florida and New York, which have been regulating massage therapy for a very long time. So we still have some states that aren't regulating massage therapy.
Mm.
And often, what happens with massage, unfortunately, something that our profession has to deal with is a lot of people that are performing sex work and also so human trafficking and this kind of thing can hide behind massage therapy. So, this is something that our profession has to deal with. And then occasionally, hopefully not frequently, the wrong people get in this profession. And then, they may not have been screened properly by a school. or they may have uh, lied very well their way through massage therapy school and through their licensure. And there can be people who are not mentally, emotionally fit for this work. And the people that are providing massage therapy are touching people's lives. And we have a scope of practice that we have to stay within. We have to be on top of our own psychological phenomena in order to honor the therapeutic relationship. And not everyone is able to do that because maybe they had a lousy education, or they just weren't constitutionally fit for this work to begin with. So that's more about why I end up in these relationships with litigators, is because of my history and also my standing within the profession. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is great to know that there are folks who have your expertise and can help educate judges and juries as they're evaluating claims against other massage therapists. That is great background. Jill, we'll take a quick break. Deborah has a quiz and challenge to discuss, but I'd like to bring you back in just a moment to talk about some of the cases you've been involved with, some of the issues that have required educating judges and juries, and some of the challenges you've had working within the courts.
Mm-hmm.
Be right back.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yes. Oh, yes. We
All
have
right.
a
Yes.
winner.
Yes, we have a winner. Well, it's true or false. Okay. Yesterday's quiz, true or false. A good complaint describes a set of events that cause the harm or injury. That is true. And that actually touches on the issue of the day about explaining or describing a set of events that caused that from which a complaint may have arisen. So the winner today is Renee O.
Congratulations to Renee there.
And tomorrow we're going to have some fun. Okay, so today's quiz, discovery in the lawsuit that Kelsey filed against Dr. Fig Newton is coming to a close. Kelsey is convinced that he has evidence to prove all the elements of his claim. What essential thing should Kelsey do now to have the best chance of getting summary judgment as a matter of law? What essential thing should Kelsey do now to have the best chance of getting summary judgment as a matter of law? if you if you would like to if you would like to take part in today's quiz, send your responses to quiz@courtroom5.com.
That is going to be fun. I prefer the true and false ones myself. I think there's a better opportunity to win there. I don't know what the trick is, but I'm betting there's a trick question in there.
It is
So
not.
we will hope to get some good answers there. Please do send your answers in, and hopefully we'll see a winner there tomorrow. Let's bring back Jill Kristen Berkana, the owner and creator of the Berkana Institute of Massage Therapy in Longmont, Colorado. There, Jill, thanks again for joining us. I want to
Mhm,
talk a bit now about your experience in court.
mhm,
It's understood from your previous comments. Oftentimes, a massage therapist will be sued for some misconduct or misbehavior, and in order to evaluate the claim, one side or the other will bring in an expert who knows the business of massage therapy, such as yourself. Can you
Mm-hmm.
talk a bit about some of the cases you've been involved with and had the opportunity to serve as an expert witness?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm fairly new to this, and so I've only been retained 4 times. And of those times, I've only ended up on the stand 1 time. Because what I'm noticing, and I don't know if this is a theme, I'm hoping to do more and more of this. But what I'm noticing is that in educating either side so I've been on both sides. I've been, public defense, and also um, uh, talking with the attorneys who are defending the the person that's being prosecuted. So with that, it seems that uh, there have been times where I've been interviewed to be on a case, but I haven't been selected as an expert witness because um, I'm found to be biased.
Mm,
So my bias is going to be in that I am an advocate for the massage therapist, for massage therapy. I'm an advocate
mm,
for massage therapists, but I'm also an advocate for the public, but I'm not an advocate for the businesses. So there's these businesses that hire massage therapists, right?
mm,
And they will often have a situation that they feel that they have to defend their business because they've had a massage therapist that has come under fire for something that's either true or not. And I'm an advocate for, the public and for the massage therapists. I'm not going to be advocating for or biased for the business. And so, in that way, there are some businesses that decide to go with a different expert,
mm.
if you see what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
sure.
So I can't go into detail about those businesses, but there are businesses that are going to be looking for expert witnesses that are going to be leaning towards them in some way. When they're interviewing their expert witness, they want to build a strong case, right?
Yeah.
So if let's say, for example, that a business has um, a massage therapist that's working for them, and they have a client that is making a claim against the business because their employee did something that was inappropriate. And if I come in and I validate that, yes, that was inappropriate, then they're going to continue to look, uh, you know, um, and so there is this bias there, and I try to remain neutral. And my school and my reputation is that we're telling the truth.
Yeah, yeah. Are this where the claimant, the plaintiff in those cases, seeks expertise from a massage therapist background?
They're looking for somebody who can explain to them what basic standards of practice are, and this usually involves sexual misconduct and a client who has been touched inappropriately, and the massage therapist is under question because they may have not handled the draping appropriately, or they may have touched the client in a way that the client felt was inappropriate and not within the scope of practice of a massage therapist. And so then where I come in is to explain what appropriate touch is, and what
Mm.
appropriate draping and safety measures are, and whether or not the therapist followed those standards of practice.
Got it, got it. Once the party decides to hire you as an expert witness, and puts you before the court, is there a qualification process that the court entertains, or before you
There
get to take the
is. So
stand?
generally, what happens is I will be interviewed extensively, and I will be brought on board, and then I start doing some research. So once I'm starting to do my research and I'm starting to have conversations with whoever it is that's retaining me, um, at that point that I'm retained, chances of it going to court, what I'm learning, is slim, because
Mm,
these things get settled. Once they bring an expert in and the expert is going, yeah, that's not right, that was wrong, that shouldn't have happened, then the
mm,
attorneys will take that information to uh, the person that they're suing and go, look, we know this isn't right, we've talked to this expert, and then the whole thing gets settled out of court.
mm.
So I think that's why I'm not showing up in court very much. But there are several hours of conversations that go on, before, and then I plan to go to court, and then I get a call saying they settled. It's not happening. That happens often, and hopefully, in that case, the settling means that the person is going to give up their license if they're found to be guilty of, those very unfortunate scenarios. But when I did go, what happened is both of the attorneys from both sides will interview me on the stand. They will ask me questions about my qualifications, who I am, what I've done, what my history is, and then they can ask the judge if the judge is accepting me as an expert witness. And then the judge will certify me as an eligible, valid expert witness. And then at that moment, it shifts. And then I will be questioned by both sides.
Absolutely.
And specifically to educate the jury.
Absolutely. And so the settlements generally are driven by a report that you would write relative to the facts pled in the case and that sort. Can you talk about the components of the reports, right, and just how you go about
No,
constructing them?
that's not what I've done. I have just been interviewed. So
Ah,
I'm not preparing the reports. It's
yeah,
probably someone within their law firm that is creating the report based on the interview that they're having with me.
understood. Understood. Good, good.
Interesting.
Fantastic. Do you
Now,
know if
not to say that that isn't something that an expert witness would do. That's just something that I haven't done.
Sure,
Right.
sure. Yeah. When
Mhm.
have you actually testified in a case, or
Mhm.
was that one that was settled? In the situation to testify, what is the education that's required for a jury or a judge? How do you help them understand how to evaluate the facts in the case?
They can ask me questions. And usually the attorneys are asking me questions to help educate, but the jury can also has a chance to ask me questions as well as the judge.
Mm.
Understood. Understood. Fantastic. Jill, I'm going to share your website, the BerkanaInstitute.com, on the screen for our viewers. Where else can people find you online?
That's the place.
All right.
Fantastic.
That's the place to find me. Mhm. I
Fantastic.
do also have a blog that is www.bodywork-art.com. Mhm.
Fantastic. We'll make sure to include that in the show notes. Jill, thank you
Mhm.
so much for joining us and sharing
Yeah,
your
thank you.
experience as an expert witness. We'll have you back again.
Great. Thanks for having me. Bye bye.
Bye bye. That's great.
Fantastic, fantastic. There's such a wide range of expertise, it strikes me available in different types of claims. It's really amazing. Seems to me no matter what the facts might be and the claims you might have against another party, there is going to be somebody who can help a judge and jury. So just sort of interpret those facts and the harms that you might be alleging there. It's always really good to go in search of expertise in one way or another. Great to know
Exactly.
that this exists.
Yeah, I love that the minute they get an expert in, then let's talk about settle. Okay. That's great. And I think it works like that most of the time.
Actually had that experience too. I don't have a lot of experience as an expert witness, but I never made it to the stand. Because once I was questioned, this happened to be a transformer that blew up somewhere. But once I took a look at it and was questioned by both sides and deposed, yeah, the case was settled fairly quickly. I mean, that thing had obviously caused somebody
Yeah.
harm, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I think that is bringing an expert on anything. Then yeah, there you are. Fantastic. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you all for joining us. As always, we will see you on tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Who wrote that up for you?
Are you feeling beleaguered, angry, or afraid, as if things are spinning out of control and you're powerless to stop them? It's easy to just let things slide and hope they don't get worse. But they often do get worse. The thing is, you're not powerless. Our courts belong to us, and their purpose is to give power to the powerless. Don't let your grievances pile up without redressing them. You can handle this in court. Or, if someone takes you to court, you can take them to school.